You don't have to do more. You need support that works on every level: body, mind, habits, and soul. That shift happens when you stop pushing through and you start coming home to yourself. Now, I used to think I was handling it. I was meditating right. I was journaling. I thought I was doing all the right things. And, from the outside, I looked calm and grounded. My friends would actually ask me, how do you hold it all together when you're juggling all these things? But the reality is, inside, I was exhausted, so wired I couldn't sleep, so tense I could not relax, even when I went on vacation, and so caught up in trying to keep it all together, I didn't even notice how much stress was quietly running the show. And I know that I am not the only one. So, my friend, if you have ever asked yourself, why can't I calm down? Why can't I relax? Why am I still anxious even when everything seems fine? This episode is for you. So, hello and welcome, or welcome back to the Magic Mindfulness Podcast. I am your host, Rachel Hub, yoga teacher, life coach, and someone who has spent years studying stress, not just for my clients, but because I needed to understand it for myself and for my family. More on that in just a moment. But what I have found in my own life experience is that we tend to teach what we have most needed to learn. And that has certainly been true in my own case. And so you may already know this part of my story. Watching my mom have a stroke at 49 years old. Actually, I wasn't even in town. I was a campground ranger out in California. My sister had to be the one to support her along with other family. But knowing that my mom had a stroke when she was only 49 years old, that was probably one of the biggest wake up calls in my life because it showed me how serious stress can be and how urgent it is, how important it is to shift the way that we live and care for ourselves before it takes a toll. But my second wake up call came years later when I realized that I was not coping as well as I thought. I had a good job on paper. I had a yoga practice, a breathwork practice, a meditation practice, a self care practice. I thought I had all the right tools, but I still couldn't breathe. And that is why I created this podcast series, Rewire and Restore for Stress Awareness Month, because you don't need more tools or more advice. What you really need is support that meets you where you are and support that actually works. Now, if you have missed it, I invite you to go back and revisit episodes 1 through 3 of this 4-part series, because in episode 1, we talked about how stress is not your fault and how your nervous system might be stuck in overdrive because it's trying to protect you. In the second episode, we explored how perfectionism, how pressure can keep you stuck in survival mode, and you may not even realize it. And then in episode 3, we got really honest about why mindset work alone doesn't shift what lives in your body. And so, my friend, my intention is that today we're going to bring all of that together. So, let's talk about what real, sustainable change could actually look like. Not the fix yourself kind of change, not the magic pill kind of change, but the kind of change that brings you home to who you truly are. So, a lot of times when a client comes to me, she's looking for a fix, right? She's already tried everything: the breath work, the gratitude list, the yoga, but they're still feeling stuck, still tired, and still wondering if it's them. It's not them. It's that a lot of the stress advice that we find out there, it only touches on the surface. It helps for the moment, but it doesn't get to the root of the issue. Because real transformation doesn't happen in just one area of your life. It happens when you work with the whole picture: body, mind, habits, and soul. So let's break that down. Let's start with the body. Your nervous system holds stress. Think about it: tight jaw, racing heart, shallow breath. These are not just random symptoms, they are your body's way of trying to keep you safe. And so that's why I teach gentle rituals in the stress course for women that help your body to feel safe again. And one of the simplest and most powerful rituals that I have incorporated into my own routine is my 7-minute morning routine. And I'll share that with you in the link in the show notes, just in case you're interested in checking it out, because you can change it around as much as you want to. But this has been so impactful for my energy, my stress. It helps me start my day mindfully with intention. I do it before I even get out of bed some days, and it sets the tone for my entire day. And you know what? Even if I happen to oversleep, even if I am running behind, I don't have to skip. I can just make it shorter. So that 7-minute morning routine, I can make it even shorter when I need to, and I can still get all of the benefits to help me start my day mindfully with intention. And that is what I have found consistency has helped me the most in my journey through stress relief, because consistency is what retrains your nervous system. It's not about perfection. It's not about adding more, 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 more. It's about making the small, consistent, mindful shifts that actually make an impact to your nervous system. And then when we think about the mind, the patterns that you've been taught to believe, I should be able to handle this on my own. If I slow down, I'll fall behind. I don't have time to take care of myself now. I'll do it later. And what I want you to know is these thoughts don't make you weak. They, for a lot of us, have become our default because they were useful ones, right? But they're not serving us now. We work on this very gently in my stress course for women, helping you to rewire the way that you think about rest, boundaries, and worthiness, not through shame, not through doing more, not through pushing, not through hustle, but through truth, through kindness, through awareness. And habits, that's where the shift starts to become real, right? Because these breakthroughs don't come from just thinking differently. The breakthroughs come from doing differently. Now, one of my clients, I was so proud of her. She messaged me not too long ago and she said, a few weeks ago, I would have totally lost it. But this time I noticed what was happening. I took a breath, I stayed grounded, and I was able to respond instead of reacting. If this situation had happened a few weeks prior, she would have felt stressed out beyond belief. But because of the tools, because of the practices we had worked on together, she was able to pause, check in with herself, body and mind, and respond from a very heart centered place instead of a place triggered by stress. And that is what happens when the work becomes a part of your life. It's not just a checklist. It's not a quick fix. It's not a magic pill. It's just your way of being. It's just what you do, which leads me to our soul, our spirit, that inner voice that whispers, this isn't how I want to feel. This isn't who I want to be. And in my stress course for women, we talk about coming back to yourself, your intuition, your joy, your truth. It's not about becoming somebody new. No, it's about remembering who you were before the stress took over. And so today we've kind of brought together a lot of the concepts that we've been talking about over the past few weeks. We looked at why you don't need to do more to feel better. You just need the right kind of support, and the kind of support that fits the multifaceted being that you are. And so what I really want to leave you with is this. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too much. You are not too little. There's a really good chance, based on the way our society is these days, that your nervous system has simply been in survival mode for so long. And you are allowed to choose a new path now, but don't be hard on yourself. Don't expect overnight shifts. Start small. Start with presence. If you want to, you can start with my free 7-minute morning routine. It's linked in the show notes below. Use it this week as a daily check-in if you want to, a reset, a return. And I'm a big fan of journaling. So if you do want to go deeper, I invite you to reflect on this, either in your meditation practice, maybe journaling. What would it feel like to support myself with care instead of control? So again, let me just repeat that. Your journaling prompt, you can meditate on it, you can write about it, you can think about it while you're driving in your car. What would it feel like to support myself with care instead of control. And I invite you to just allow that question to move through your body and see where it leads you. And so, as we wrap up this 4-part series, if this series has spoken to you, if something inside you has whispered, yes, I want you to know that there is a next step. My stress course for women is the path that I created from my own lived experience. It's practical and science backed, it's soul rooted. Yes, I've got the yoga. Yes, I've got the breath work. Yes, I've got the meditation. But this is a path home to you, and it's yours at your own pace in your own time. And right now, for a limited time, you can get it for 25% off by using the code stress less, all one word, stress less. I'll put that in the show notes so you don't have to remember it. What I want to remind you is that you don't need to push through another week. You don't need to earn rest. You are already worthy of peace. That inner peace within, it's inside you somewhere. You are worthy of connecting with that peace. And I'll be here when you're ready, holding space. So thank you so much for walking this path with me. Thank you so much for walking through this series with me. It has been an honor to share it with you. I will be back soon, but until then, be gentle, be steady, don't forget to breathe, and most of all, come home to you.